Jim Castor is a native of Noblesville, Indiana. Born and raised in the town, Jim decided to leave the town to fight for his country after Pearl Harbor. Jim served as a fireman first class in the Pacific during the war and served his country proudly even at the young age of
I
17.
enlisted when I was just barely 17. Well, I was very skinny and I was little, and they back then I had a driver's license, said I was 17, and they didn't question things back then. I even forged my mother's name.
But despite his small physical stature, he proceeded to enlist in the war.
Doctors examined me, two of them finally said, well, I can't find anything wrong with him. I hope they buy some clothes to fit him. So I weighed 115 pounds.
When asked why he wanted to join the war effort, Mr. Castor responded,
All her. And we all felt the same way. Teenagers, we wanted to get back at the Japanese.
Yeah.
So everybody was enlisting. And when you're upset and mad, you want to get back at the enemy. And the Japanese were the enemy. I find out now they're very fine people. But at the time, they were the enemy. I was a fireman first class, so I was in charge of the engineering office, the log room, as they called it. And it was the best job on the ship. I didn't realize it when I got it, but it was. I had a CPO bunk, sleep in the office. I had an air vent going down. This was important back then when you were in the Pacific and it was 101 degrees. And I got my laundry done with the CPO so I could eat either there or in the mess hall. So my life aboard ship was really good.
over the course of the war, he also took part in two of the most influential naval battles of World War II.
We were in the last major sea battle in World War II in the Layani Gulf. And our ship was credited with sinking two battleships, two cruisers, two destroyers. We were in 9 major bombardments. Then we shot down 29 planes. We got 2 Navy commendations, unit commendations, not private commendations. We got 3 kamikaze hits near the Philippines. And
During World War II, Japan began to use kamikazes. Here Mr. Castor details how they used to deal with them.
it started when they got you in your sights, unless you blew them up before they got. And the aircraft carriers were really damaged because they went down through the deck into the flight and garage areas where they store the planes, into the ammunition area. And carriers were completely, a lot of them were sunk. But we were fortunate. We survived. But we had to bury, I think, 117 men. That's been a long time ago. But sea burial is very, very solemn. It stops, makes you think a long time.
Following the war, Mr. Castor returned to the United States and embarked on a fulfilling and prosperous life.
I finally got discharged in Boston. Came back, signed up for college, got married, raised a family, went in business. Was in business 39 years, retired when I was 71. Now I'm 87 years old. I'm commander of the VFW Post 6246 here in Noblesville. At my age, I really don't need the job, but somebody's got to do it. So that's where we are.
Aside from the military aspect of the war, Mr. Castor also underwent rich and valuable human experiences that changed him as a young man.
The natives on all islands were friendly to the Americans. And I think my travels in Germany and whatnot, I think that since we were fighting for a good cause, I think that people really respect us a lot. This is not true all over the world, but I've been in Iceland, Norway, Denmark, England, South America, Antarctica. You meet people and they're very, very pleasant to the Americans. Very.
His experience in the war also gave him a fresh new perspective on the value of life.
You know, you're young. You get in a car, you don't think you're going to have a crash or you're going to be killed, but it could happen any time. So it's the same way in the service. You go in, you're young, you're gung-ho, you want to kill the enemy, that's all you want to do. You never think, well, I could be next.
Despite his involvement in World War II being just one aspect of his life, his sacrifice for his country not only helped to shape the country in which we live in today, but it also served as a major and invaluable experience that helped to shape him as a person.
I had a girlfriend in high school. When I left for the service, I said, have a good time, I'm going to. And that same lady and I got back together after the war and raised a family and were married 53 years before she passed away. It's just been a wonderful life. I have no regrets. I don't feel ashamed of what I've done. I figure God will forgive me. That's about the story of my life.